I just want to introduce someone else special. My dad is sitting right down here. He spent... So Dad spent 26 years in the Minnesota legislature. He was a public servant. Early childhood family education was his passion, and it's so special for him to have him here tonight. And the great thing is he made the trip all the way from Scottsdale, Arizona, and left some really nice weather to be here in D.C. My mom passed away a few years ago, and she's with us here in spirit, but I want to acknowledge her because she's very present right now for all of us. And my family was up here. Isabel is 17, Teddy is 13, and my wife, Ellen. Could you guys stand up again wherever you are? And they're We've been having wardrobe conversations for weeks, and they just look fantastic. So if you pick up this program here, and by the way, I also just want to acknowledge what a great crowd this is. This is just a fantastic audience. Press club people, Bloomberg people, friends, family, friends who came from faraway places, friends that go all the way back to grade school came in from Minnesota. We had about 30 people flying from Minnesota. Kevin Reynolds, the founder of Bloomberg First Word. Stand up, Kevin. Stand up. Kevin's a legend in the Bloomberg company, and he made it, and so many wonderful people in the audience. See, Marion Blakey made it, the former FAA administrator, and I just mentioned Marion because her and I spent a lot of time together when I was covering aviation after September 11th. Those were crazy days. Marion, stand up. I just want to acknowledge. Thank you for being here. So if you pick up this program, you know, Bloomberg did this, and we have to be transparent and honest in the news business, but the truth is, this is photoshopped, okay? This is not authentic. This is me, but this was photoshopped in, and I'll tell you, this is what it really looks like. But then your Minnesota Vikings fans put these hats on. This is it. I am a big Vikings fan, and it was so special to get that video from Fran Tarkington. That also made it fun. I'm particularly proud to get this honor, given that I grew up as a deprived child in Minnesota. I hate to say that with my dad sitting right there, but unlike the folks here in D.C., I actually had to go to school when it snowed a half-inch. I also consider myself fortunate because, you know, many Minnesotans haven't had luck with Washington. I mean, Michelle Bachmann, she lost her bid for presidency, as did Walter Mondale and Hubert Humphrey, and Al Franken lost his sense of humor here. So and being in power in Washington isn't what it's cracked up to be anyway. I mean, Harry Reid is leading his caucus while working through this terrible injury he got while exercising. John Boehner got threatened with poisoning. And some days, Joe Biden can't find anyone to hug. So people have asked me, what is the theme of your inaugural? It seems like everybody thinks these things should have a theme. And I would say simply, the theme is John Hughes. And they say, no, not your name. What's the theme? And then I'd say, well, that's it, John Hughes. Mike referred to it. I'd often introduce myself to people, and they would crack the same joke. John Hughes, nice to meet you. I like your movies. Because, you know, he had the same name as me, the famous movie maker. And tonight, I'm happy to say, though, that the joke is really on all those people. Because I have written movie scripts. And tonight, for the first time, I'm going to share some of the plots of my scripts. Okay? So the first one, this one I wrote, has a very catchy title. It's called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The plot is Jeb Bush plays a marketing executive trying to get to the White House in time for the holidays. His trip is complicated by an annoying shower ring salesman named Mitt Romney. And if you look there we fixed this next one I wrote. It's one I think has a lot of potential. It's called The Breakfast Club. The plot of this one is that Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, John Boehner, and Mitch McConnell are forced to spend a Saturday morning together in the Longworth cafeteria. They don't overcome their differences, but they do learn the food at Longworth is lousy. And there they are. This next one I wrote is called Home Alone. This one has a very simple plot. Ted Cruz holds a caucus. 16 candles. Congressional leaders get together for their birthday party and realize they need a hell of a lot more candles. And finally, this one is my favorite. I think it's got a lot of potential. Pretty in Pink. Hillary Clinton plays a politician who has a crush on higher office. She wears the right clothes, hangs out with the right people, and makes great grades, only to find out that another classmate, Elizabeth Warren, is everyone's new favorite. And somehow Mitch McConnell got a part in that one too. I don't know how that happened. All right, I want to talk about the club now for a few minutes. Okay, there we go. Now, it wasn't easy getting the National Press Club started. The National Capital Press Club formed in 1891, and it died when reporters didn't pay dues or bar tabs. This began a hallmark at the club, that is, learning from our mistakes. So the National Press Club formed in 1908, and it held its second meeting at the Willard Hotel, and that's what the Willard lobby looked like around the time of that meeting. So at that second meeting, the club banned credit for reporters for food and drink. This club survived. Here's an early board of the National Press Club, and you can see that reporters dressed a little better, back in the day. So we built this building in 1927, and then in 1932, President-elect Roosevelt came into this room, and this is a picture of him taken that evening. This is the room that evening. This is the room we're in, okay? We were showing off our diversity of that time, you can see. So if you feel a little crowded tonight, just think about what those folks felt like in there. It looks a little crowded in there. But the reason I single out this FDR appearance was because this was a transformative evening for the National Press Club, November 22nd, 1932, because this was the birth of the speaker series. This was really what the club regards as the first luncheon or dinner speaker, right? And so what happened after that is a tradition was born, okay? And the most prominent speakers in the world followed FDR. And all of a sudden, the history of the world became intertwined with the history of the club. Martin Luther King spoke here in this room in 1962, and he said that the goal of the civil rights movement is simply one word: freedom. And the speakers kept coming. Here we see some more. This continues up to the present day. This was Norton and Ali appeared together that day, did a little sparring beforehand. Now, if you don't know who these people are, see me after class. So when the speakers thing really got going, in the 70s, we started adding more, and we started hosting newsmaker conferences. So these were another way for the press to reach the important people of the day. And we continue to do these newsmakers to the current day. This was last week, one of our newsmakers. Now, our Journalism Institute, whoops, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. After we started the newsmakers in the 70s, we began rewarding career achievement in journalism. And the Fourth Estate Award today is one of the most prestigious in the industry. The very best in the business come here and accept these awards. And here are some who have come. And now our Journalism Institute is very active in training reporters to compete in this changing world. In fact, this Friday we're doing a session on iPhone reporting, how to do it all with just one device. Our Young Members Committee, they've been getting into the act too. They've been holding sessions on cybersecurity and encryption, social media and TV training. In fact, I want you to meet the co-chairs and the future of our profession. Jen Judson is a defense reporter for Politico. Julia Piper is a senior writer for Green Tech Media. Jen and Julia, where are you? Could you stand up? There you are. Press freedom is a very big deal at the National Press Club. We fight for it worldwide with our programs, our statements, and our training. And we all know the Paris killings were a horror. Our actions make a difference. So the man at the front of this picture is Abdullah El-Shami. He's an Al Jazeera Arabic reporter. He was imprisoned for 10 months in Egypt just for doing his job. When he got out, he came to the National Press Club and said that the statements that we and others made on his behalf helped bring about his release. He's pictured here with club leaders, and we were very proud that day. And I want you to meet the chairman of our Press Freedom Committee, who does such outstanding work. John Donnelly is a senior defense writer with Congressional Quarterly. John, could you stand up? There you are. So we are the International Center for Journalists, and there is no better representation of that than our most recent president. After traveling the globe in a 4-decade career with the Associated Press, Myron Balkine came here to help the National Press Club. He connected us with the world as we never have been before. We were so proud this year when presidents of Africa came here under Myron's watch and gave major speeches at the National Press Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Myron. Myron, will you stand up? Well, there are no more slides. The future is wide open to us. What will pictures from our time look like? Unlike the days of unpaid bar tabs and uncollected dues, our finances are the strongest in decades. Our programs are as good as they've ever been. We have our state-of-the-art broadcast facility. We're proud of the journalism scholarships we award and raise money for. So what next? First, we consider new models to help our press freedom efforts thrive even more. The Press Freedom Committee is excited about the possibilities. Our profession needs us more than ever. As attacks against journalists intensify, we will push back harder than ever. Second, we will bring new media voices to the club. You've already met our MC tonight, Evan, from BuzzFeed. So Evan's internet news company didn't exist a decade ago, and there are many more like him who will find homes at the club. we're going to welcome and embrace the new forms of journalism at the National Press Club. And third, we renew ourselves in everything we do. We're going to unleash our entrepreneurial spirit, consider new ways of doing things. We will make it clear to the world that while we have been shaped by our past, it is our future that inspires us. The journalists of 1908 wouldn't recognize much of what we do today, though they would find that they could now buy things on credit. They would recognize our principles. They would see our dedication to the profession of journalism, our devotion to public service, our fight to protect the First Amendment, and our search for the truth in all that we do. Let these principles be our guiding light in 2015 and beyond as we work together to continue to transform the National Press Club. Thank you very much.